Let's get silky. Welcome to a special spooky edition of Whiskey Christmas, because when you bring home a new bottle of whiskey, it's like Christmas. Non-denominationally, of course, and as long as you're over 21.
Unless you're in Europe.
Or as long as you're not chaperoning a junior high school dance.
Or participating in a seance.
Ghost busting.
Or ghost haunting. Who says we can't haunt the ghosts?
Or taking a group of toddlers trick-or-treating.
Or a group of elders trick-or-treating.
I mean, also don't be like very drunk when you're handing out candy.
You don't want to spill anything, like onto the candy, or get any candy in your whiskey.
Or can you imagine if you like threw up into somebody's sack? They're like, hey, let's have some candy. And you're like, I ate this 4 hours ago. I'll bet it's still good. I don't know why the wrapper's still on it. Whew.
That kid's gonna remember you forever, though.
You're giving them more than a treat. Or if you're running away from some psycho killer that can't be killed by conventional means. You might think, yeah, I can just like throw this whiskey at them and it's flammable and I can light them on fire, but that's not gonna kill them and then you're just gonna be down a bottle of whiskey. Leave it, come back to it.
You could try tying the whiskey to its legs and pushing it into a lake. It won't work.
There is no solution where you're killing one of these creatures with whiskey. Save the whiskey. If you survive, you're gonna need it. I'm Justin.
And I'm Billy.
And we have a great show for you. Today we're going to be tasting this Laphroaig 10-year, which may or may not be from the 90s. If anybody has any idea about exactly when this was bottled, feel free to mention it in the comments. We'd love to know. But we know for a fact that this bottle of Glen Moray that we are also going to be tasting is from the 90s. Because I talked to them on Instagram and I said, when is this bottle from? I can't find any information. And they said, the 90s.
That's all they had.
Yeah, that's all they knew.
Give or take a decade.
So I'm very excited to try this. And I'm very excited to try this as well. We also have some very big news. Billy?
Going to Europe. Going to Scotland.
This is Billy's Euro trip.
Yeah.
For those familiar with the film.
I'm not.
So where in Scotland are you going?
Going to Edinburgh, if that's how you say it. And then Glasgow. I don't know how to say any of these things. I'm going to Edinburgh and Glasgow and a bunch of places in between.
Also, bigger news, we now have a Patreon where if you want to be featured in the credits, you can give us $3 a month. I tried to make it $1 a month, but Patreon was like, you should really do $3. And I was like, okay.
$3 a month. We will paste your photo on each pour. That's about $3 worth of whiskey every time. And we can drink you.
But not on the show. This is something that we'll do in private, and we're not gonna tell you about it. There'll be no evidence.
You'll never see it.
But you just have to know that we're doing it. That's what we got going on for our news in this new breaking news section. So we're gonna talk about what Scotch means, how that is different from whiskey. And then after we go over Scotch, we're going to taste our Laphroaig 10-year and our Glen Moray 16-year. Then we're going to compare these to our faithful Bulleit, which should be pretty different considering this is a peated Scotch, this is not a peated Scotch, and Bulleit is a bourbon. So we should have some sort of nice contrast. After that, we're gonna find out which ones we like the best, and then we're gonna see if Lynda likes it.
As always.
This week's Lynda is named Bill, not Billy.
That's me.
After that, we'll have our In Memoriam, where we'll talk about some whiskeys that have left us too soon. And then we'll go over some viewer mail.
Is any of our whiskeys that left us too soon maybe gonna have another life tonight?
Oh, perhaps. They are spirits. Well, let's get to it. Whiskey Christmas is brought to you by Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. If you ever sit in your house and think, man, this place sure seems lonely, I wish I had a friend that would never leave. Now you can. Here at Jasper's Friendly Ghosts, we help lonely people connect with single spirits in their area looking to hook up. Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Banish loneliness to the Shadow Realm, where it belongs. Are you ready to try this new beer from Thailand Materials?
The fake sponsor of ours? The real sponsor of ours?
What happened to your hat?
What happened to your shirt?
So today we're going to drink Scotch, which is why we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what the definition of Scotch is. When people talk about whiskey, a lot of the time they'll say, what's the difference between whiskey and Scotch? The difference is that Scotch is a type of whiskey, and it's a specific category. Much like bourbon is a specific category, rye is a specific category. One of the interesting things about Scotch specifically is that whiskey is spelled differently, and it's spelled without an E. So it's W-H-I-S-K-Y, whereas most whiskey in America is W-H-I-S-K-E-Y.
That kind of seems like the least important difference.
That's fair. The definition of Scotch that I found on the internet says that it comprises a minimum alcoholic strength by volume of 40%, which is 80 proof.
So this just meets the bar.
So if you get Laphroaig nowadays, Laphroaig is 40%. So it's an 80 proof, but this one is older and it's 43%, so it's actually 86. Scotch can contain no added substances other than water and plain caramel coloring. It's produced at a distillery in Scotland from water and malted barley, to which only whole grains of other cereals may be added, all of which have been converted at that distillery to a fermentable substrate only by indigenous enzyme systems, distilled at an alcoholic strength volume no less than...
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. I'm going to cut most of that out.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. I went cross-eyed.
The basic things you need to know about Scotch are that it is made entirely in Scotland. So the grains come from Scotland, the water comes from Scotland, everything is done in Scotland, it's all aged in Scotland. Other things that are good to know about Scotch are when you see that something is peated. Now, if it's peated, that means you're going to get a campfire in your mouth. So single malt Scotch is usually a bit more expensive. It means one distillery, one distilling season. There's also blended Scotch. Now, a lot of people hear about blended Scotch and they're like, this isn't good. Try it for yourself. Don't just say I'm not going to drink this because it's a blend.
When I hear blend, I hear Kirkland. And then I hear every boomer in my periphery going, not bad.
If you're going to go and look at the Kirkland stuff, do a quick Google, because like Costco isn't making, Trader Joe's isn't making their own booze.
Right.
You can find out where that booze is coming from, and then you might be able to, if you can track down like the exact name, you might be able to get a deal on something that otherwise you wouldn't.
Yeah, I bet like when our parents die, we're going to, the spirits we're going to be left with are like 16-year Kirklands. Blends.
What a delight.
Whiskey Christmas is brought to you by Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Do you ever look around your house and think, a ghoul sure would liven this place up? Look no further, because Jasper's Friendly Ghosts now carry a wide variety of ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and gremlins. Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Banish loneliness to the Shadow Realm, where it belongs.
This bottle of Laphroaig 10-year comes in a proof of 86 or 43% alcohol. From the Laphroaig Distillery in Islay, Scotland, with a mash bill of 100% malted barley. This whiskey is generally available with a price range between $50 and $70. Their website states, Laphroaig 10-year is the quintessential Islay malt with flavors of peat, smoke, and salt. Full-bodied and smoky with hints of seaweed and sweetness. A truly distinctive whiskey, it embodies the Laphroaig house style. Nose, huge smoke, seaweedy, medicinal with a hint of sweetness. Body, full-bodied. Finish, lingering. This bottle of Glen Moray 16-year comes in at 86 proof or 43% alcohol. From the Glen Moray Distillery in Elgin, UK, this whiskey has a mash bill of 100% malted barley. This 16-year age statement Glen Moray is not currently in production. However, various 16-year Glen Moray whiskeys are available online, ranging in price from $50 to $400.
I'm ready for those hints of seaweed.
Let's get medicinal. All right, so let's crack this open.
We found this in a man's basement, and it was given to us. It was a gift.
It was. I think of him as a whiskey Santa.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Without a beard, but he could have one.
He could have one. I've seen him with a mustache. Did he have a mustache when we saw him?
I believe he might have.
Shit.
Oh, no.
Do we have a corkscrew?
We got to find something. We'll find something.
So what's happened here is the cork is broken. So we don't have a wine bottle opener. So we're gonna use a drill and a screw. 'Cause Billy says he's done this before. And he has to get on a plane tomorrow. So we're probably gonna have to do this again on the next bottle. Because it's similarly old.
Yeah, at least 30 years old.
Ooh, you hear that glug?
I haven't seen it crumble like that.
It's just
Oh my goodness.
pulled right off.
Pete. Ooh, stinky.
It's such a rich nose.
Just like cherries. Fiery and smoky cherries.
Yeah, I'm getting all that peat, but it's like there's like a depth to it. Like it's a very rich peat. Like this is actually, I think this is a lot better than some of the other ones I've smelled. Like this.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like an old rich man eating cherries next to a fire. And I'm smelling his mustache.
This whiskey smells like colonialism. All right.
That tastes like wood chips.
Strong, long finish. Very oily mouthfeel.
I wasn't expecting a body like that on with the nose that it had at all.
No, very gentle on the body. Like much more gentle than I was expecting. And I've had, a couple bottles of Laphroaig over the years.
But I do feel like I'm chewing on wood. Like I understand what my dog is up to.
Yeah, you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I know that tree.
I know that tree. It's a
Yeah.
good tree.
It's an oak tree. Oh, this nose though. The nose on this one is
It's wild.
so good. Sometimes when you have like a really good older Scotch, you get this almost like honey note in there towards like the end of the nose, and this has it, and it's great. It's a little more subdued than some other ones I've had, but it's killer.
So I'm really curious about a non-peated Scotch. Like I don't know how to differentiate this. On the last episode, I think you said something about 80 proof whiskeys.
I did say that 80 proof whiskey is useless. I stand by that in most scenarios, but my exception to that rule is going to be when you have whiskey that is heavily peated, because the peat really brings that much extra dynamic to a whiskey. Like if you are somebody that doesn't normally drink whiskey and you have like something that's really heavily peated, like it's going to completely throw you off because you're like, wait, this is something that people drink for fun.
Yeah, this totally threw me off.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you have to eat your words and you have to eat your drink. See, we're only on our 4th show. Huh? I don't know. This might happen again.
I doubt it.
We're talking peat moss, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that's also like, it's just taken out of the earth. It's another like fossil fuel. We're just kind of...
Oh, they just dig it up.
Yeah, it's not good. There's like a big movement against using any peat in anything, like in fertilizer and like... and all sorts of stuff. Like, what's his name on... Do you watch the BBC show Gardener's World? With, was it Don Johnson? What's his name? He's got a great name. I'm actually curious, like, how much peat goes into something like making Scotch compared to, like, fertilizer. I'm assuming it's not that much. Monty Don, please, in the comments, I need to know.
Also, we'd love to hear from Jackson Galaxy. So I think it's time to get our Glen Moray out.
You get the Glen Moray, I'll get the drill. You must have something at home you can grab.
I have like corks, but like I don't want to like leave these open.
Till you get home? Oh, I guess you'd have to bring them
Yeah,
home.
be like driving around with these in
Right. I guess you had a little conundrum there, don't you?
I'll just have these in the cup holders. No, officer, I wasn't drinking. I was filming.
I don't know how they got there. They must have,
The ghosts put them there.
yeah. 'Tis the season, officer.
Ooh. What do we think of this?
It looks like we lost some. How's that even possible? It looks like it started here, almost. Like, look at the...
Oh, it does.
But it's not in there.
This is old.
Has it just become cork? Oh, that's dumb.
Let's get the drill.
I think we got that far back.
Nope. How many screws you got?
I got a few more. Oof. We're getting some movement. Try to spin a little bit.
We're gonna be chewing on cork when we drink this.
Oh no, I hope not. No, I got it.
Up.
Wow.
Like a surgeon, cutting for the very first time. Does it smell delicious?
It smells like metal. I bet you thought I wasn't gonna get them out, huh?
I did not have faith in you.
Thank you.
You could tell.
That's where I like to start.
Now see if you can tell the difference just on the nose on which one's which, because I mixed mine up.
Oh, I already drank the rest of my other one.
Ooh. That is so different.
Yeah, I'm getting at the appley sweetness on this guy.
This smells amazing.
It smells really nice. Weird. It's like surprisingly somewhat simple. Very pleasant.
Very pleasant. Very one note, I would say. Whereas the Laphroaig actually has a bit more going on. The Laphroaig takes you on a little bit more of a journey. A decent finish, not too long. A bite that makes sense for the proof.
It is like an elegant drink, though. It feels somewhat fancy for some reason. I think because it is so simple and unobtrusive.
It's a beautiful one note. It's almost like if the other one tastes like an old man with a mustache.
Next to a fire.
Next to a fire.
Eating cherries.
Eating cherries, and they're just like dripping on him. This one tastes like a younger version of that man dressed in a tuxedo. He's at like a party where there's dancing, and he's not dancing yet.
Right.
But he's thinking about it. He's looking at the other people dancing. He's saying, they're having a great time. I'm just going to finish this drink. And then if a pretty lady or a pretty man comes up to me and says, you should cut a rug, he'd give it a shot. So now you know what we think about these ones roughly. Let's compare them to Bulleit. This should be
weird.
This should be drastically different. My prediction is that we're gonna have a strong opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, I feel like a bowl of syrup's about to enter the room.
Yeah, a bowl of corn syrup.
A bowl of corn syrup is about to enter the room.
So now it's time to bite the bullet. And that means that we're gonna see if I can break 3 corks in one episode.
Do it. Do it.
Do you have the drill?
I have the drill.
Okay. Now, interestingly, in color, this is darker.
Way darker. And they didn't even add the caramel coloring. It's not crazy. It is darker than any of them, but this one's the lightest, the unpeated.
Yeah. The oldest one?
The oldest one.
Which is weird, but here
They
we
ate
are.
The cork.
The cork eater. I mean, it definitely smells like a bourbon.
Yeah, it burns like a bourbon too.
Yeah, you get that old bourbon oak.
I do feel like it came home, you know?
This is sort of like a nice reminder that although a lot of the time we're not very complimentary towards Bulleit, like it is a very solid staple of the category. A lot of nice corn in here. Very gentle.
Mm-hmm. The gentlest of the bunch. And it's funny, they're all same proof.
Definitely get that sweetness
Yeah.
out of it. Like you don't really you get a little bit of surprising sweetness out of the Laphroaig. Like the smoke actually brings out some sweetness.
Some fruity sweetness. This is corn sweetness.
Yeah.
Even on the finish, it's just like leaving me sweet.
Yeah, it does break up towards the finish a bit more than either one of these other two. But that might just be the cork.
I mean, this is the sweetest one to me. The Glen Moray. For me, it's like a bright sweet. Definitely getting apple from this guy.
Actually, you know what? I am getting more of that apple. This is, maybe it's just because I just went back from the Bulleit, but it's giving me some Hakushu vibes, which is one of my favorite Japanese whiskeys.
Ooh, that's fun.
That has some like really beautiful green apple notes, and now I'm sort of getting some green apple from there. But
Yeah. Green apple starburst. Yeah, so we got corn sweet, green apple sweet, and Grandpa's Lap sweet.
there's something very special about this particular bottle of Laphroaig.
I would love to. I mean, I think a good comparison would be like the 80 proof one you're going to go buy right now.
Yeah, I think that would be good. But we had this one. And,
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that we're trying it.
Oh, me too. This is very great.
So now I think we should probably move on to the verdict. All right, so let's try this beer.
Let's get it. So we got the Advancement of Interests, a Belgian strong ale, 9%.
All right.
Let's see what we got.
What can you tell me about this beer?
Me? I can tell you that it has a lot of foam inside of it. Generally, when there's this much foam, I just blow it off. And then you pour it.
Okay.
This is what happens when you let me pour.
Okay. There's more suds. Good nose on there. Do beer people talk about the nose?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they just immediately put it in their mouth and swallow. That's not true, but that's how I drink beer.
Yeah, really malty.
Malt Town, USA.
Yeah.
It's got a regalness about it for this proof. I enjoy the consistency.
I actually like this. And I'm not just saying that because I know the guy that brewed it, but I'm saying it a little bit because I know the guy that brewed it.
What's his name?
Brian. The verdict is brought to you by Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Want a wall feature that will really impress that uppity so-and-so from down the street? How about a poltergeist? Jasper's Friendly Ghosts patent-pending poltergeist prison paint will keep your ghosts from ever leaving the bounds of your wall, creating a one-of-a-kind experience that the whole family can enjoy. Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Banish loneliness to the shadow realm, where it belongs. Which of these whiskeys is going home?
Like it can't stay here. It needs to go home, back where it came from, in the earth. Or with me tonight, with the ghost lover.
Yeah, which one's going home with you?
All right, which one's going home with the ghost, me and the ghost?
Yeah.
My top pick is, and maybe it's just because I've never experienced peat before, is definitely going to be this Laphroaig. That's probably 30 years old and disintegrating. It's wild. It's like, it makes me think, I think I really like whiskeys that make me think of characters, or like all of a sudden it became like this like family member I never had. And not many seem to do it so far. And he's the Canadian rye was definitely like, he's a close friend now.
Yeah.
But this is like a grandpa character in my life that's full of great stories and great smells. So that's my number one. Number two is going to be the Glen Moray. Mostly for the nose. Bulleit is what it is. It was nice to come home, but it's never going to be my number one.
I think that the Laphroaig is actually I think it's a better whiskey. But now that the Glen Moray is reminding me of the Hakushu, I kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm just gonna have to agree with you. I don't want to. I want to like this more, but I do agree with you that I think this particular bottle is incredible.
Yeah.
This bottle is also great. I'm gonna call these both savors.
Definitely.
Legitimately.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Right.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, something comes with age too, right? Like it's just, these have been around. They're pretty much just like old, rotting characters in the corner.
they've seen some stuff.
Seen wars.
So now you know what we think about these whiskeys, but what does Lynda think?
And we're dealing with a Bill here, not a Willie, not a Will, not a William, not a Wilhelm, not a Wilhelm you know who.
No, we're dealing with Bill.
Bill. All right. Take it away, Bill.
I don't think Bill's gonna like this.
Good. It's about time.
My name is Bill. I am this episode's Lynda, and today we are trying Laphroaig. That has the weirdest aftertaste. I do like the initial taste of this. It settles really weird for me though. I don't like the way it sits, but I like the way it tastes when it first gets in there. I don't know if I want to finish that, but, you know, I'm gonna.
He did not like it.
Yeah, I could see that it seemed to leave his mouth and end up all over your face. So that was unfortunate for you, but you know.
Emotionally.
Yeah. Whiskey Christmas in Memoriam is brought to you by Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Saying goodbye is hard. Saying goodbye to a loved one at a funeral is even harder. Now you don't have to. Just contact Father Todd Unctious at Jasper's Friendly Ghost to resurrect a loved one and bind them to your eternal spirit. Jasper's Friendly Ghosts. Banish loneliness to the shadow realm, where it belongs.
Welcome to our In Memoriam section. Here are a few bottles that have left us too soon. If you have any bottles that you would like to be featured,
Or resurrected.
just tag us on Instagram and we'll include them in the show. All right, so welcome to our viewer mail section. This is where we're going to sort of read some of the things that people have said to us or comments that people have made about the show.
Filmmaker Matthew Hashiguchi says, I'd like to know more about shitty whiskey. I can do that for you.
Yeah, we'll do our best. Actually, this is another question from a friend of mine, Mike Miles, a supporter of the show. Not on Patreon yet, but there's still time.
Come on, Mike.
Mike says, what's the best whiskey for a hot toddy? Now, that I think is partially a question of personal preference. Old Grandad 114 is actually really solid. Old Grandad 114 is the same mash bill as Basil Hayden's. So if you like Basil Hayden's, but you want a higher proof, it's a lot cheaper. And I would buy it if you see it, if you're thinking about doing this.
Have you ever mixed all of your whiskeys up just to see how they would taste? Ralph. Thanks, Ralph. I haven't done that, but I probably have.
I have.
All of them?
Have you ever heard of an infinity bottle?
No, it probably isn't as good as it sounds.
No. Basically, the infinity bottle is when you have a little bit of whiskey left, and then you pour it all into the same bottle.
Oof.
And it tastes insane.
Personal blend.
A reckless personal blend.
A reckless personal blend.
My car trunk is literally full of NFTs that I'm looking to move for cheap. You interested?
Who's
Carmine.
Who's this Carmine guy? I don't know if we know Carmine. Our lawyer might know Carmine, but I don't think we know Carmine.
I don't think we're allowed to say anything about Carmine.
Never heard of him. I've never even been to Jersey City before, so I don't know.
Oh, it's actually Carmine Esquire.
Shit. Why won't you let me stay dead? The resident studio ghost. Well, I bought this really cool product on the internet, and you're kind of stuck here now, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, also, I kind of like the company.
Yeah, it's a great company.
Yeah.
Great for the planet, great for ghosts, I think, but, no one's here speaking for the ghosts, so what do I know?
Are we still buddies? And this is from Willem. Once a buddy, always a buddy.
Yeah, I took a blood oath. Sure, I'll check out your podcast. The guy at the liquor store. This must be someone, you know.
Actually, this is real.
Oh, which one?
I was talking to somebody
Oh, nice.
at a liquor store, and they were like, yeah, I'll check out your podcast. And I was like, great.
Nice. I'm going to quote you on that.
Yeah, look it up. The audio version of Whiskey Christmas coming to a podcast near you. Well, that's our show. Until next time, wishing you a merry non-denominational Whiskey Christmas.
And a spooky, scotchy Halloween.
Like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not your boss.
Yeah, just don't.
I don't have any employees.
I kind of maybe do.
That sounds illegal.
That does. 1099s aren't illegal, Justin. Did you press record?
Why did you think you needed emergency tooth surgery?
The right side of my face is like insane, and it just felt like it was coming from right here. I think COVID did a lot for the QR code.
I think it's one of the success stories of the pandemic.
Pizza. It's great for the mouth. How do you say seance?
Like that.
Seance.
That's how Matt Berry would say it.
What do ghosts sound like in Western society? I think I know.
How? When I think of a ghost, I think of it sounding like this, like...
What are you trying to say?
I don't fucking know. I'm John Wayne. My teeth. And then there was a balloon. We should stop.
Yep.
This episode's gonna be good, but it's gonna suck to edit.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.